6 months before her death, a single image quietly captured a turning point in Victoria Jones's public story. It wasn't a red carpet appearance or a film premiere. It was a moment that raised questions about what was happening behind the scenes, long before most people were paying attention. This story isn't about headlines alone. It's about context, how a series of widely reported events came together, and what they reveal about the pressures that can exist far from the spotlight. On January 1st, Victoria Jones, daughter of actor Tommy Lee Jones, was found unresponsive in a hotel room in San Francisco. She was 34 years old. According to publicly available reports, emergency services were called, and first responders attempted life-saving measures. She was later pronounced deceased at the scene. Authorities have stated that there were no immediate signs of foul play, and officials have emphasized that the investigation remains focused on determining the official cause of death. At the time of reporting, no final conclusions had been released. As news of her passing spread, attention quickly shifted to a detail from months earlier, a mugshot taken in June of the previous year. The image resurfaced across media outlets not as a judgment, but as a reference point in a longer, more complex timeline. According to court records and media reports, the mugshot was taken following an arrest related to an alleged domestic incident at a resort in Napa, California. Victoria pleaded not guilty to the charges and was scheduled to return to court later. It's important to note that an arrest is not a conviction, and the case had not reached its legal conclusion. Just weeks before that incident, Victoria had faced another arrest, this time connected to allegations involving obstruction and controlled substances. Once again, she pleaded not guilty, and those matters were still working their way through the legal process. These events were not isolated, but they also weren't new. Public records indicate that her legal history dated back more than a decade, including a theft-related arrest in 2011 that was later dismissed. Over the years, these moments appeared sporadically in public view, often without broader explanation or follow-up. What's striking is how little attention these stories received at the time, especially compared to how prominently they were discussed after her death. And that raises a difficult but necessary question. Why do certain warning signs only seem to gain meaning in hindsight? Because the mugshot itself wasn't the story. The story was everything surrounding it, and everything that followed. In the months leading up to her passing, Victoria was reportedly dealing with challenges that were noted publicly by friends, associates, and some local officials. According to media coverage and statements from law enforcement, she had previously struggled with substance use, something that was described as an ongoing concern. A San Francisco police officer familiar with her case commented that substances in the community, particularly fentanyl-laced products, had become more common and presented risks even for those seeking help. Importantly, officials emphasize that these are general observations about public safety, not personal judgments. On New Year's Day, the hotel staff discovered Victoria unresponsive on the 14th floor of the Fairmont San Francisco. Staff immediately notified emergency responders. Paramedics attempted CPR, following standard procedure, but she was pronounced deceased at the scene. Representatives from the hotel released a statement expressing their sadness at the situation, highlighting that she was a guest whose passing was treated with care and professionalism. The public response was swift, with many reflecting on her life and career, rather than focusing solely on the arrests or legal matters. Social media posts often emphasized her work in film and her personal contributions, underscoring that public perception is only one aspect of an individual's story. While headlines may have focused on a single image or arrest, the full narrative is far broader, a reminder that context matters when looking at public figures. Following her passing, questions naturally emerged about the connection between her earlier legal issues and the events of that day. Media outlets and public commentators repeatedly emphasized caution. Much remains officially unverified, and speculation can be misleading or harmful. According to publicly reported information, authorities confirmed there were no signs of forced entry or criminal intent at the hotel, and no indications of self-harm were reported. Investigators are treating the situation with standard protocol, awaiting toxicology reports and other official findings before drawing conclusions. These publicly available details provide a careful framework to understand the timeline without assigning blame or drawing conclusions.